Hey, I wanted to invite you to a course that I've developed for you. I think you'll find it very interesting. It's called The History of Evangelism, and we're going to be looking at the story of evangelism right from the beginning of the Christian era all the way up to modern times. We're going to be talking about the apologists. We're going to be talking about some lesser-known figures like St. Gregory Thaumaturgus or Nina of Georgia. We're going to be talking about better-known figures like the Wesleys, Billy Graham. We've got Orthodox figures, Roman Catholic, Protestant. So whatever your background, I think you're going to find it very interesting. There's going to be class discussions. It's going to be offered through Zoom, but I think that we'll connect very well. And so I wanted to encourage you, get on our website, check out the course. It's just $100, and the registration is open until April 20th. So get in there. Course is going to be offered from May 9th through June 27th. We'll do live classes on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Central Time, but I think it'll be a good schedule for people from around the world to get in on this class, The History of Evangelism. I hope to see you there. What's also interesting is that Matthew, Mark, Luke, and Paul, specifically the Apostle Paul, all claim that Jesus was seen by the 11 remaining apostles. So there were 12. Initially, Judas betrayed Jesus and hung himself, died, apostatized. But the 11 that remained, Matthew, Mark, and Luke's gospel, and then additionally the writing to the first letter to the Corinthians that we have from Paul, all of those writings claim that the 11 saw Jesus appear to them at the same time. Now, that's interesting. You know, we've all heard about people that have had hallucinations. We've all heard about medications, drugs, chemicals that can induce hallucinations, trances. It's not hard for us to understand that one person could have some type of a psychological crisis, maybe in the midst of their grief, who knows, and just imagine that they saw someone after they died. In fact, it's not that uncommon for that to occur. What is very uncommon, very, very irregular, very, very unheard of, is that 11 people would have an identical hallucination all at the same time. And that's exactly what we read about. We read that the 11 saw Jesus appear to them not once, but multiple times at the same time. They're all witnessing the same event. So it really pulls it out, in my viewpoint, from the realm of just a hallucination. It had to have been a real apparition, a real appearance of Jesus resurrected from the dead. So the critics would say, well, yeah, the 11 agreed. Of course they agreed. It was just all an elaborate conspiracy. And we've all heard of these types of conspiracy theories where people get together and they just collude and agree what the official line is going to be. But then the question becomes that if that were true, if you played that out, if it really was just the 11 apostles getting together and weaving this big story, this big narrative, what would be their purpose in doing that? What would they stand to gain by making up such a story? Would they get fame? Would they get prestige? Would they get financial gain? Well, when we look at what's in the Bible itself, you look at the aftermath of the resurrection that's documented in the book of Acts, you read about Paul the Apostle's difficulties that he talks about in his letters. You read about early Christian witnesses, early historians of the Christian movement that leave us these traces, these accounts of persecution, the difficulty, the rejection by society that Christians underwent. And you realize that the apostles had nothing to gain and everything to lose by claiming that Jesus had risen from the dead. And that's exactly what they claimed.